Yo, hey everybody, what's good? It's your favorite YouTuber. It's your favorite YouTuber. I go by many names, all of them biblical. I was even told I was the real Bishop Santa. I was even told I was the real Bishop Santa of Notre Dame Cathedral de Paris. Okay, yeah, that's cool. And now throughout my life I've actually done some very gangsta shit. Um, you know, such as get this bullshit out my face. This is garbage. I ain't ever graduate from no fucking Depew High School. I've never even been to Depew High School in my life. Depew High School? Depew High School. Well, I don't know what that is. No, I don't know what that is. I don't know what Depew High School is. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of no Depew High School. No. Get that bullshit out of my face. Now, in my lifetime, I've actually done some very gangsta shit. Um, I've done some very gangsta shit. At one point in time, I was legally married. I was At one point in time, I was legally married to many gorgeous women. Now, okay. Now, keep in mind, every house, every residence I used to live at, I was illegally evicted. Why was I illegally evicted, you might ask? Why was I illegally evicted? What is considered illegally evicted? Oh, okay. Well, when your landlord, when your landlord is not who he says he is, and your landlord is an illegal immigrant and an ex-con, that's not a landlord. That's not a landlord. Especially when a landlord calls up his older brother. Especially when a landlord calls up his older brother. I can't even fucking talk in this house. I can't even fucking talk in this house. Cause this fucking house echoes. I'm sitting here trying to record a video. I can hear someone in 3 rooms over. Clear as day. Now how am I expected to upload a video? Not to mention not to mention in every house, every residence I used to live at, the so-called landlord, called up his older brother. The so-called landlord called up his older brother, took out a spare key that he had tucked away in his pocket, unlocked my door, and now the landlord and his older brother are waving loaded handguns in my face, saying, "Yo, kid, we want you off our fucking property, or else we will murder you in cold blood. And if you try to jump, we will call local law enforcement, and we will just tell local law enforcement that you jumped first and we were just defending ourselves." Okay. And I keep calling Spectrum Services. Keep calling Spectrum Services to get a private home security monitor. And Spectrum Home Services keeps on telling me, "Oh, it's for simple service installation, the product itself is going to run $99.99 due to service installment fees. You're going to look at almost $364. No. That is called illegal. That is called illegal. That is called illegal. That is called false advertisement. And the same logic applies, the same theory applies when a customer walks up to a Tops supermarket, walks up to the Tops supermarket checkout line and pays for their items, and the store clerk is taking their credit card, and the store clerk is ringing up their credit card 5 to 6 times a piece. Okay? Well, that is what Spectrum Cable does. Spectrum Cable takes our credit cards. Spectrum Cable takes credit cards from a customer and rings up an innocent person's credit card 5 to 6 times. That's the textbook example of fraud. And okay. And every house I used to live at, my front door was booted down by my landlord and his older brother, waving loaded handguns in my face. And then I tried to call Depew, New York Police Department. Depew, New York Police Department came to my house and instead of asking the two men, why are they holding handguns in my face? Well, then Depew, New York Police Department draws their handguns to my head and said, yeah, you need to listen to your landlord. You need to get the fuck out. You need to get the fuck out. Or you would have taken your last breath. Okay, well, that's called illegal. That's called illegal. Now, every residence I used to live at, I legally own that residence. That's my private property. So, therefore, every house I used to live at, the landlord would always call up his older brother and run up into my house with loaded handguns, threatening my life to get the fuck off of their property. Or else I would have taken my last breath that day. Now, Lancaster, New York Police Department was no different. Lancaster, New York Police Department kept illegally trespassing on my private property every day. I can't even fucking talk. Alright, I'll try to talk. Without my family screaming their head off in the next room. I mean, I'm trying to do a video here, and my family is screaming their head off three rooms over. Alright, so I used to live at 57 Cowing Street, Lancaster, New York, 14086 USA. Now the problem with that is Lancaster, New York Police Department kept illegally trespassing on my private property with loaded handguns, ordering off my own property, or else I would have, quote, taken my last breath. And the Lancaster, New York Police Department illegally trespassing on my private property every night with loaded handguns, threatening my life. Andre, we want you off this property. Andre, we want you off this property. And I'm like, I don't give a motherfuck, officer. This is my private property. You can go fuck yourself, asshole. And, yeah, and there's this dirty, rotten, black piece of shit, Carmen Schwigert, from Baker Victory Services in Lackawanna, New York, would always let herself in with a spare key she got. Yeah, fuck that. Okay. Carmen Schwigert from Baker Victory Services, Baker High School, located in Lackawanna, New York, right in front of Botanical Gardens, that area, right by Our Lady Victory Basilica. Now, this person had a nasty habit of running their mouth and running to the police to back up her shit talk. Now, this person, she loved to talk shit. She loved to talk shit. And as soon as somebody stood up to defend themselves and say and tell this person, hey, shut up. All right? Shut up. You are harassing and you are offending me. And then that dirty, rotten, black piece of shit would jump up and run to the phone and say, oh, that's a police call. And this piece of shit was sitting there running her DSL at high velocity speeds, talking mad shit, even threatening people's lives. And then as soon as somebody stood up, showed backbone, and defended themselves, this piece of shit would immediately run to the phone and call 911. Officer, he's harassing me. Officer, he's harassing me. And police would get there with handcuffs, holding their handcuffs, waiting to arrest somebody. It's like, no, officer, get away from me. Get away from me, officer. I've done nothing. And the officer smiled like a piece of shit and came closer. And it's like, now what the fuck did I just tell you, officer? I said, get the fuck away from me, you scumbag sack of shit. And it's a real big problem. It's a real big problem with Miss Carmen Schwegert from Baker Victory Services, Lackawanna, New York, right next to Our Lady Victory Basilica. Now, she had a habit of talking shit and then running to police like a punk ass nigga to back up her shit talk. And when I lived at 56 Cowing Street, Lancaster, New York, 14086, this piece of shit would take out a spare key and illegally let herself into my house against my will. Well, that's called rape. That's called lewd misconduct. That is called sexual harassment. That is called breaking and entering. And that is called home invasion. Okay. And, this black piece of shit, big fat black piece of shit, she's known for running her mouth. She's known for running her mouth like a punk ass nigga and then turning around and calling local police to back up her shit talk like a pussy. And she was sitting in jail. She was sitting in jail for her bullshit. And, I'm quite sure she just manipulated the electricity in this house and turned off my lamp. And, um, and, and, okay, and, my light comes back on all of a sudden. Okay. And I heard, damn. So yeah, every house I used to live at, I legally owned. Every house I lived at, local authorities would boot down my front door. Local law enforcement would boot down my front door with loaded handguns and threaten my life because I was sleeping with gorgeous women. Okay, well, that's no reason to evict anybody. Just because somebody is sleeping with a gorgeous woman and you are jealous and you are butthurt, you illegally trespass on that person's property with a loaded handgun and threaten their life. Yeah, okay, well, August 1st, 2016. August 1st, 2016. I had it all. I had women. I was well taken care of. My women were providing for me every night. My women were providing for me every night. My needs were getting met every night. Okay. And then, and then, that punk ass Father Dave Richards from OLP Parish, he called up Lancaster police and tried to have me hauled off to jail because he said, I don't know what he said. He said, what did he say? He said, I used some rude language with the altar girl. What? Yo, Father Dave Richards, are you fucking retarded? Everybody was out to get me.